Welcome everyone to this afternoon session, the first session of the afternoon after the inaugural session. I'm very happy to have Mr. Chetan Bhagat. I now invite Dr. Vidya Yerorikar to welcome our guest.
Thank you, Anita, and welcome Chetan Bhagat ji. It's been a long time since you have come to Symbiosis, and I'm happy that you could at least virtually join Symbiosis. We have Dr. Muzumdar sir, the president and founder of Symbiosis, also here. I hope you can see him.
Yes, I can.
Namaste, namaste.
Then we have our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajni Gupte, also here. And of course, a large number of our academia, faculty, students, and a lot of well-wishers of Symbiosis. So we have more than a crowd of 2,000 people on Zoom and YouTube live listening to, who are going to listen to you. Chetan Bhagat and Symbiosis share a very, very long association, I should say. When he came from Singapore to India, when he relocated back, with the passion of writing books and being an author from a very corporate job after his completion of IIT and IIM, he visited Symbiosis with his two little twin kids, twin boys. And I can still remember the havoc those young little kids created in my office, pulling everything down the table, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. And Chetan and his wife were feeling embarrassed, but I said, this is the way kids should be. And now these two are grown up to 16-year-old adults now studying in college. So it's really, really a long way. And of course, after that, you have visited Symbiosis for a couple of sessions with the students. And this is a long association. So we consider you as family, Chetan. And I'm so happy that you accepted, again from Singapore, that you're addressing all of us for the Symbiosis Lit Fest. I won't take much time because everybody is eager to listen to you. And therefore, I hand it over to Dr. Raman, who's the Dean of the Faculty of Management and the Director of our very prestigious Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, to conduct the proceedings. Thank you, Chetan.
Good afternoon to Mr. Chetan Bhagat. Thank you so much for accepting this invite and being here for this session. You don't need any introduction, but it's my duty to give a very short, possibly a minute or two, introducing you to all who are there today, about 500 plus on Zoom, about 1,000 of them who are on YouTube. So this is a short introduction of Mr. Chetan Bhagat. Chetan Prakash Bhagat is an Indian author and a columnist, all of you know. He was included in the Times Magazine list of world's 100 most influential people in the year 2010. He graduated from IIT Delhi, completed his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, started his career as an investment banker, but left it after a few years to pursue his passion in writing. He has authored several blockbuster novels, you all know, and also a few non-fiction books. His first novel, 5 Point Someone, was published in the year 2004. Time flies, you know. And his novels have been listed as the best sellers. His novels have been adapted by several Bollywood films, as you know. His latest novel, One Arranged Murder, is a thriller that will keep you hooked until the end if you start reading it. So today he is with us. That's a small introduction that I thought I could give before I request him to speak in the Symbiosis Literature Festival that's going on. This is the first session after the inaugural that happened about 30 minutes back. And he's going to speak about his book, India Positive, New Essays and Selected Columns, Simple Takes on Indian Burning Issues. So that's the session for now. I formally request Mr. Chetan Bhagat to start the session. He'll first speak, followed by a Q&A that we'll have some questions from my end and some from the students as well. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hi. Thank you, sir, for this introduction. And thank you, ma'am, for the most different introduction I've ever had. You can imagine I've done hundreds and hundreds of events, but nobody has introduced me. I remember your twin babies. They are 16 now. So you can imagine how long this association has been. They have created havoc in the Symbiosis guest house. And now they are in grade 11. And so they are actually my children are exactly as old as my writing career because my wife was really pregnant when my first book came out. So I see my kids, and as old as they are, or as mature or immature as they are, that's my journey as a writer. I'm very happy that you're having this Lit Fest and all really prominent authors are speaking in it. I can see on this call itself, there's some 500 plus people who are in it already. It's 581 I see right now. So thanks for tuning in, guys. And I'm very happy that you've chosen. I offered that, you know, because a lot of students are there, I'll talk about murder mysteries, I'll talk about love stories. But I was specifically told, they said, no, we want to talk about India and we want to talk about our country. And they want me, although I can talk about love stories and murder mysteries, and it'll be a lot of fun and it will be very entertaining. But I think there is too much entertainment going on in the country today. All the news has also become entertainment. So someone has to talk about the country at some stage. And I'm very happy that even though it's a literature fest, um, uh, the topic chosen was to talk about India. And you know, I'm honestly telling you what often ends up when we start talking about national issues is 10-15 minutes later into it, it becomes about politics, right? And then you talk about how to make the country better, it becomes about politics. And then it becomes about politics, then it becomes about BJP or non-BJP or Shiv Sena or Congress or NCP or whatever. And then before you know it, everybody's saying, Arey, this was, you know, Congress fault, this was BJP fault, this is this leader's fault, this is that leader's fault. And it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't, it really doesn't. I have for a long time tried to, although I don't mind discussing politics, but I feel it is a society. I feel it is the people who shape the nation. In fact, believe it or not, it is the people and their thinking that makes politicians behave a certain way. Politicians are sitting there doing things that people want. I'm being really honest. Tomorrow, if everybody in India stands up and says we need a better economy or we need better roads or better hospitals or whatever, I can tell you, guarantee say, all political parties, all politicians will talk about that 24/7. They talk about certain other things because people are interested in other things. They talk about distractions because people are interested in distractions. And I don't think you can build a nation like that. There's a very famous film, Rang De Basanti, and there's one dialogue in that कि देश बनता नहीं है, बनाना पड़ता है. And कौन बनाएगा? If you think you will go put a vote and some leader will come and he's going to, you know, somehow make a country for 140 crore people, it's not going to happen unless people change their thinking. And India today is really at, I feel sometimes worried. I'm sorry, I'll be talking about the youngsters while I know youngsters like my books and all, but I'm going to be very honest with you guys. हमारा टाइम मोर और लेस निकल गया है. लाइक यू नो द पीपल ऑन दिस वीडियो स्क्रीन यू सी, उन लोगों ने अपनी जिंदगी काफी जी लिया है. गाना है एक अमिताभ बच्चन का, अपनी तो जैसे तैसे कट जाएगी, आपका क्या होगा जनाबे अली, यू नो. एंड यू हैव टू मेक दिस कंट्रीज फ्यूचर एंड यू लाइक, अरे हाउ डू आई मेक, हाउ by firstly achieving things yourself, investing in your own life, setting goals for yourself, going beyond what you think you're capable of, and not wasting time on distractions. Phone, this phone, we all have a phone. I am telling you, this looks very harmless and it's a wonderful device, but it has become a big source of distraction for a lot of people, a lot of young people. And 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, people are spending on it. Not only is it wasting your time, especially when you are at a young age, if it takes away 1/3 of your day in faltu things. Of course, you can use the phone for classes. You can use the phone for something like this session. You can use it to learn things. You can use it for LinkedIn. All that I'm not saying. But honestly, if you put your hand on your heart, you can say how much time you're wasting on it. And that is really not going to come back. And it is actually like I feel it's like a drug addiction only. Only thing is it's legal, because drugs take away part of your life, cigarettes take away part of your life. Phone is also taking away part of your productive life. The other problem the phone does, if you are constantly on the phone, your brain loses the ability to think. You're constantly watching. So your brain's thinking part of your brain switches off. We have two parts. One is thinking part, one is emotional part. Emotional part reacts to faltu things, anything. They want drama, they want, emotional part reacts to entertainment, drama, people screaming, and thinking part requires certain application of mind. But if you're mindlessly watching faltu things, then your mind will not be used. So any news anchor can come and scream. Any news anchor can come and put fire on the screen, come up, and you will start to think, oh, you listen to that. But when some sensible person is talking, you'll be like, मजा नहीं आ रहा है, मजे चाहिए, मजे. मजे के आपके पास बहुत साधन है. But you need to not expect entertainment out of news. You need to not turn your brain into jelly, which it is becoming. And what is the result of that? The result of that is we will not focus on the right issues. Now, more than ever, we need to focus on the right issues. Our economy is down 24%. All over the world, there's a problem because of Corona. But India was hurt really hard. We were never too rich to begin with. That's a fact. We are a developing country. Our per capita income is $2,000. China is at $10,000, 5 times more than us. In the 80s, we were the same. The US and Europe is $60,000. So we have to get there, right? Don't we have to get there? So if we say as a nation, हम सिर्फ वो चीजें करेंगे जो हमें ये 2000 से 10,000 लेके जाएगा. अगर हम सारे एकजुट होकर ये हो जाए, then nothing can stop us. But if we say इसके अलावा जो मर्जी बातें करा लो, बॉलीवुड के केस सॉल्व करा लो, किसने माल फूका, तनिष्क ने कैसी एड बनाई, मेरे को ये बताओ कि आप लोगों को, like I'm not talking of you guys, जो लोग ये करते हैं, who waste their time on this, what are you getting out of it? What is your life development that happened out of this? And you constantly say India is great, India is great. India will be great when we are a rich nation. It is a fact of life. कोई भी गरीब देश को लोग इतना सीरियसली नहीं लेते दुनिया में. आज चाइना हमारे को बॉर्डर पे क्यों पंगे ले रहा है? क्योंकि वो 10,000 पे है, हम 2,000 पे है. आप सोचो हम चाइना से 5 गुना अमीर होते हैं. हिम्मत थी करने की जो हो रहा है. चाइना कभी जाके शिप्स भेजेगा यूएसए की तरफ या यूरोप की तरफ? कभी नहीं भेजेगा. यहाँ पे ठीक है. आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि हमारी तो जी पुरखे देखो, इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन 5,000 साल पहले ऐसे था, ये था, हम इतने ग्रेट हैं, हिंदू इतने ग्रेट हैं. ऐसे अफ्रीका भी बोल सकता है कि मानव जाति, जो ह्यूमैनिटी का जन्म, क्रेडल ऑफ सिविलाइजेशन अफ्रीका है. सो दे कैन से वी आर ग्रेट, बट कोई सीरियसली लेगा नहीं. यू वांट रिस्पेक्ट फॉर योरसेल्फ, मतलब एज अ पर्सन you achieve something in life. You want respect for the nation, make the nation achieve something today, not 1,000 years back. आज क्या कर रहे हैं हम? Very, I mean, good for Bangladesh. When I heard the news that Bangladesh per capita income is higher than India, there was a time we didn't even compare with Bangladesh. पहले there was a time हम क्रिकेट में भी कंपेयर नहीं करते थे बांग्लादेश से. अब कभी-कभी हार जाते हैं उनसे, और अभी ये हो रहा है. So if they can get it together, so this will only happen if we realize that all of us have to focus. And please realize, so far I have not mentioned any politician, any political party. This is up to you. If you do it, India will get somewhere. If you don't do it, आपको distraction हर मोड़ पे मिलेंगे. 4 महीने पहले सुशांत था, आपको लग रहा था वो नेशन में, कि जिसको लग रहा था वो नेशन का सबसे बड़ा इशू है. फिर बॉलीवुड ड्रग्स हो गया, फिर तनिष्क की ऐड हो गई. मैं आपको गारंटी से कह रहा हूँ 1 महीने बाद फिर आ जाएगा कुछ. हमारे देश में नौटंकी की कमी नहीं है. लेकिन if you want to fix your life, 1, and 2, you want to fix this nation, you tell yourself, I am not going to waste time on my phone doing faltu things. I am not going to get distracted. I am not going to do anything that harms my nation, harms the unity of my nation. I am not taking left wing side, I am not taking right wing side. आप मेरा ट्विटर जाके देख लो, मेरे को दोनों तरफ से गालियां पड़ती हैं. But that doesn't matter. मेरी पार्टी एक ही है, वो इंडिया है, और वो तभी आगे बढ़ेगा जब हम ये फालतू चीजें नहीं करेंगे. आप खुद ही बताओ, जो ऑलरेडी देश थोड़ा गरीब है, if we tell people come and invest here, then say, but the people there are also fighting with each other. How can that country progress? I don't care, Hindu, Muslim, South, North, कोई ना कोई तो ढूंढ ही सकता है, दलित. You can keep finding 100 reasons to fight, but how is it helping? What are you changing? How is it making India better? How is it making your life better? तुम जाके ट्रोलिंग कर रहे हो. तो I don't think people in Symbiosis do that. I think you guys are all very lucky to be in a good college. I am just trying to tell you, people will try to get to that emotional part of your brain. People will try to pull you, and your emotional brain will say, हाँ यहाँ चलते हैं, यहाँ तमाशा ज़्यादा अच्छा है. But don't do tamasha. The nation needs soldiers like you to go out there and do well for yourself and for the country. If the youth does not rise, if you stay lost in your phones, I am telling you, this country will become a country of delivery boys and clerks who are fighting with each other. And if you decide that no, all this nonsense will not work, we will get together and build this nation, it can go very far. This is what was done in the 1930s and 40s. That's why India got free. Some people of that generation decided, let's get our country's freedom back. Now, it is the current generation only that will decide किधर लेके जाना है गाड़ी को. You know, एक नौटंकी से दूसरी नौटंकी में या एक देश से दूसरे देश में. This is what I mean by India positive. You be positive in your thinking, positive towards the nation. किसी को भी हार्म मत करो. एक तो न्यूज होती है, उसके ऊपर एक होता है फेक न्यूज, नकली न्यूज. मैंने आज एलियन देखा, अगर मैं इंटरेस्टिंग वे में बताऊंगा तो खबर चल जाएगी, देखा हमने तो एलियन देखा. चलो, ये एक लेवल ऑफ गड़बड़ है. एक दूसरा लेवल ऑफ गड़बड़ शुरू हो गया. इतनी फेक न्यूज कि उसमें किसी का नुकसान होना चाहिए. एक इनोसेंट बंदे के पीछे पड़ गए, किसी को कुछ नोच डालो, कुछ तोड़ो, किसी को खराब करो, किसी की इमेज कुछ करो, वो नेगेटिव है. दैट इज इंडिया नेगेटिव. आई कैन गारंटी यू उससे कुछ फायदा नहीं होगा, ना आपको ना देश को. बट इफ यू डू इंडिया पॉजिटिव, व्हिच मींस आई विल लुक एट माय लाइफ इन अ पॉजिटिव वे. या सिस्टम खराब है यार, खराब है, चलो बॉलीवुड भी बहुत खराब है, तो क्या करें? आपको तो अपनी लाइफ बनानी है ना यार. आपको तो नहीं कोई कह रहा मुड़ के उधर देखो. आपको अगर खराब भी लग रहा है तो तुम अपने पे फोकस करो ना. At my age, I'm 46 now. I am working. I don't think about the फालतू things. You know, so you also say मेरे को अपनी लाइफ बनानी है यार. सिस्टम में तो आज शाम तक हम बैठ के सिस्टम की बुराइयां डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, लेकिन बीइंग पॉजिटिव मींस जैसा भी सिस्टम है मैंने आगे निकल जाना है. So that's how it is. Everybody has problems. The people, you think Symbiosis University never faces problems, given it is in India? It does. करते हैं. You think I don't face problems? Everybody faces problems, but we stay positive and take this country somewhere so that you have a better tomorrow. You know, so that's really what I wanted to say as my opening remarks.
Well, thank you for that opening remarks. It was hard hitting. You know, distraction is something which is wired in the human mind. You know, our forefathers who used to go for hunting, those people who heard the noise turned back are our forefathers, because it's an integral part of the wiring of the brain that you get distracted. So, and that's creating a lot of issues today, rightly put by you, telling, you know, every time there is a phone and you get distracted and you're not able to focus. But how about, I mean, people also talk about doing multiple things at a time and take pride in it. That's not a problem. You know, I look at my phone, I'll still concentrate on something that is there. And I take pride telling I do multiple things at the same time. So what is your take on it, Mr. Chetan Bhagat, as far as the multitasking mode of the brain is concerned, like a multiprocessor, you know?
I mean, you know, you can multitask. There is, and we have to multitask. There is no productive multitasking is okay. I think every person can answer for themselves. When I wake up in the morning, I do many things. People do many things. You can maybe exercise or do yoga or whatever you do. Then you focus on your office work or school work or college work. Or then you say, I have to look after some family thing or some phone calls you have to return, whatever. There are different things. And your brain does need to divert to another task. So diversion into another task is okay. But distraction is unproductive or even negative stuff. Unproductive means nothing is being added. It's zero stays zero. सिर्फ time waste हुआ है. Negative is ना सिर्फ वो बल्कि थोड़ा negative हो गया. आपने किसी से लड़ाई कर ली इंटरनेट पे, आपने कोई गलत अपनी थिंकिंग खराब कर ली, या कोई ऐसी आपका जो टाइम क्रूशियल था वो निकल गया, वो वेस्ट हो गया, वो वापस नहीं आएगा. So that is a distraction. And frankly, I can't say कि phone बंद करके फेंक दो, वो तो नहीं हो सकता यार. Today we can't stay without it. So it is up to the individual. नेता नहीं आपको बोलेगा आके कि फोन कम यूज करो.
Okay.
पॉलिटिशियन का काम थोड़ा है बोलना कि मत फोन पे एडिक्शन करो. स्पीकिंग ऑफ दैट, फोन आ भी गया. सी लाइव
That
डेमो.
was
क्या करें? It is there now. It is there in our life,
Yeah.
and we have to learn to live with it. It is legal. A 13-year-old can keep it in his or her pocket, and we just have to, as human beings, learn to live with it. Thank God I didn't have this when I was studying for IIT. मैं तो पक्का फेल हो जाता, मेरा कभी होना ही नहीं था, because I would have been distracted. Even today, I feel like it does. I won't say I'm zero distraction on the phone, but you know, I have switched. पहले, and I don't know, you must have seen this Social Dilemma on Netflix, but basically, even the suggestions given to you by the phone, what you see on the phone, are based on what you saw last. And so if you are seeing a lot of, पहले मैं news debates देखता था YouTube पे, मतलब मेरे मिस हो गए थे, and it would, मेरा पूरा YouTube का feed was full of people fighting. उसने ये कह दिया, उसने ये कह दिया, why BJP is good, why Congress is good, why Muslims are good, why ये बकवासबाजी है सारा. Then I started searching for motivational videos, you know, motivation, morning motivation, things like that. And I started listening to that. I may be a motivation speaker, but I listen to a lot of motivation. And then in a few weeks, my YouTube is now full. When I open my YouTube, it will have some music. I like music, and it will have these motivational videos. That's it. It's completely positive space now. I feel like now nobody's fighting also because I'm not seeing it. So you can also, what you are watching also makes a difference. ज़्यादा मत देखो, लेकिन जो देख भी रहे हो तो उसमें भी कुछ ऐसा देखो. Because when I see that motivation video, I feel like going to the gym. But if I see people fighting, तो ऐसे यार क्या हाल हो रहा है देश का, बाप रे ये लोग कैसे लोग हैं. So it's not good for me to see that. Then you, that's not a good thing to wake up to in the morning. So I think you self discipline से ही ये distraction कम होगी. पापा नहीं छीनेंगे फोन, मम्मी नहीं छीनेंगी, कोई नेता तो आके बिल्कुल नहीं छीनेगा, और जो टीवी वाले और जो कंटेंट वाले हैं वो तो चाहते हैं कि आप देखते ही रहो, वो तो कभी भी नहीं बोलेंगे आपको.
Great. So that's constant positive input so that you are always tuning your mind to be positive is what I would say a takeaway for all those who are there as students listening to this. Let me draw to one of the statements that you have made when you talk about institutes autonomy in one of those chapters, I would say. You talk about this, you say that when you aspire to be world-class, government's intervention on a daily basis can be devastating. It's a big hard-hitting statement. So does that mean that, when you say, government's interface itself can be devastating, we have Navratna companies also, government also is doing something big in certain areas. I mean, I am a little confused. Does that mean that anything that is managed by government can never become world-class?
No. I mean, ISRO is managed by government, and the Indian Army is managed by government, and I think that's okay. Education needs some regulation, but the education also needs a lot of autonomy, because education requires constant innovation, especially in today's day and age. 10 years back, people weren't learning what they're learning today. So if you, and the problem with the government is that it moves really slow, and it can often get outdated in fast moving industries. So in education, I would say today, education is a fast moving industry. It's no longer like पहले जैसे होता था कि वही एक economics honors चल रहा है, वही पढ़ते जाओ. Today, more and more new things are happening, more and more decisions have to be made. And I don't know if that kind of autonomy comes. Now, I also see what happens when it is weak regulation. We have seen a lot of unscrupulous educational institutions opened up in India. You've seen a lot of students, kitne aaye, kitne gaye. I think there was like 175 MBA institutes in NCR alone. So it's basically everybody's doing an MBA. So, that kind of thing, and then they are not having that quality and things like that. So you do need to find a system to make sure there is some regulation that, people have a certain quality standard, a certain, and I think that has not happened so much. And I think that does make things difficult sometimes. And because it's too slow. So I think if the government wants to be in education, They can be, but they need to understand that this is a little different industry. You have to kind of treat it like a fast moving industry, and you have to just make sure that the unscrupulous players are not there. So maybe just, track record or qualifications of people involved. That is where you check, and then you leave it.
Okay.
Because then once good people are running it, you can check like maybe very less, and if there is some problem. But generally, make sure the standard of people who are setting up a place or running a place is good. They have track record, they have experience, so that the chance of garbad is less.
Great. Yeah, I completely agree. Yes, institutions autonomy is what Symbiosis as a university also has been voicing this, and I think thanks for those words that you have now spoken. Let me get into a little bit related to business, commerce, taxation. You have also talked about the 10 ways by which the income tax department and income tax can reform itself, and the taxpayers can happily pay taxes. You also are quoting Veda Vyasa, where he is talking about honeybees taking out honey from flowers without pain, and that's how tax paying should become. I mean, it's really great to listen to that, but do you think it's possible that everyone happily and it's painlessly paying taxes? Yeah.
So I wrote that column on taxes. Actually, I was invited to give a talk to all the tax people in Delhi. So in order to prepare for that, I kind of wrote an article also, and then I went to them and said I've written it. And I think they've changed. In the last couple of years, there has been some changes for sure. There was a time where it was the existing set of taxpayers, and they were only going after that and not expanding the tax base. And वही 4-5 नींबू है, उसी को बार-बार निचोड़ा जा रहा है. वो कितना निचोड़ लोगे, उसमें उतना ही जूस है ना. And I also said that this whole thing ki like, if you have made money, you're a bad guy and you better pay us tax. That is the wrong approach. People who make money and honestly pay their taxes on it are contributing to the nation. जितनी भी चीज स्कीमें सरकार की चल रही है वो कहाँ से चल रही है, जो लोग ने टैक्स दिया उसी से चल रहा है ना. So they did show receptivity. In fact, one of the ideas that I gave, which I think got implemented very directly, was to recognize the high taxpayers. So nowadays, if you pay a high tax, you get a certificate, gold, silver, bronze. So that I told them, do something. But I had actually said, don't just give certificates, but you should get some more benefits. Like people in India love like these our type perks. Security check ki line choti ho jayegi. Yeah, like I know it sounds silly, but if I pay a lot of tax, if I have a special card that allows me to jump the queue for security check, and it is written there that taxpayers, there are people in this country who say मुझे नहीं चाहिए black money, पर मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे भी नेता type feel चाहिए. So I don't know. I think it was just a suggestion to them that you can be positive. You don't have to be negative. धमकी वाली चिट्ठियां जा रही है. You can be positive. You can say, okay, if you pay me the tax, I'll give you something which only Sarkar can give. Maybe they can send a lal batti in the mail. No, that should not be it. But definitely, some perks or maybe some membership in some government club. I don't know. You can have the thresholds, but it is positive. To say that, listen, if you are law-abiding citizen and you're contributing, we should do. So that whole thing, again, I guess it comes down to India positive. There is a positive way to look at things and there's a negative way to look at things for an individual, for the country, and also for the tax department.
Great. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. You also talked about sports and India winning gold medal in Olympics and the kind of initiatives that can possibly be taken. I mean, Symbiosis has got a special school for sports sciences. We have an MBA in sports sciences. But in the part of the particular article, you're talking about 80 rupees per Indian on a per capita basis can possibly generate a huge fund. Theoretically, it looks fabulous, but when I look at practically, 80 rupees per person on a per capita basis, looking at the Indian standards, the poverty and other issues, might not be possible. But it's a fabulous concept. So if you talk about the sports and India winning Olympics and the kind of fund that has to be generated, are there any other thoughts that are there in your mind which you can possibly share with the students here?
Yeah, it's so sports. I think you're talking to where I talk about sports. Every time there is Olympics and India doesn't do well, we all feel very bad. All the articles are about India major. India should do better. क्यों हमें medal नहीं मिलते? Then everybody writes articles about why we don't get medals. And then I also did a lot of research on it. I tried to figure out हो क्या रहा है. So it is a dilemma. What is sport, and where should the money for sports go? Is it better that you make a park in a normal neighborhood where children can play? They won't win medals, but it is still a facility for them. Or you use the money to train the best athletes somewhere else, use that money on 100 best athletes so that they can win a medal. Or you should use that money to help 10,000 people just play or give them basketball court in the neighborhood. When you think about this, it's not that simple. We feel bad, but at the same time, it's a dilemma. Now, I think Olympic medals are important for national pride. And I think Olympic medals are the ultimate motivational speech. Because if India wins 5 gold medals, we feel motivated. I don't know. I feel I'm not a sportsman, but I feel like, okay, I should also work harder tomorrow. So in that way, I think it is worth it. But you have to separate that fund. You have to look at two different, one is sports excellence fund and one is sports for all citizens fund. Both are important. It's okay if we don't win medal, but if all neighborhoods in India have parks and they're playing sport, it's okay. But for Olympics, just because you make parks, you will not win medals. You may be able to spot some talent, but you'll have to train them to world-class level. And for that, you need an Olympic separate fund for Olympics, and not just see them as, we could have made 100 parks with it. You have to see it as this is a symbol of national motivation, national pride. And if you do the calculations, yeah, it only costs 80 rupees a person. Because we are a lot of people, no? We have 140 crore people. So that's like $1 billion, 7,000 something crore. That's not, it's like $1 billion. For $1 billion, you can set up an excellent Olympics kind of training facility and just take the best kids from different districts and like how China does it. We can do it. You have to decide. But the problem is people only focus on this when the Olympics come. When the Olympics go away, okay, koi aur masala khabar.
Great. So it's already 1:05. Let me open up the questions from students so that they get an opportunity to ask certain questions that they have in mind. Let me go with Rahajit Kaur from SIBM Pune. She has got a question for you. Rahajit, if you can unmute and ask the question to Mr. Chetan Bhagat.
So thank you for such a thought-provoking session, sir. My name is Rehajit Kaur, and I have a question for you. So we have seen a growing number of young interns being hired by political parties and research organizations, especially in the run-up to the general election. What do you think about political parties coming to campuses to hire interns, make them work as part of various political projects like annual budget, election campaigns, and potential solution to adverse situations like pandemic, and absorb them later into the party? Of course, depending on their contribution with key insights and analysis in party boardrooms over a period of time.
I mean, it's great. Why not? I mean, I think the experience, especially a young person, can be, it really depends on what they get, because you could be given different things, but the experience could be extraordinary. And I think it can be good. Whether, even if you don't join politics afterwards, right? Even if you just have experience working on the ground in India with a politician and some political organization, even in a normal corporate job and other things, you could have a very different experience.
Right.
So I think it's good. Whether you want to then join politics or not is a very different thing. It's not like a normal career. It's very different. And I think it's not just about which, like, I got a job at a political party, so I should become a politician. I think then you can see that this is for you or not. But I think it's a good work-ex anyway.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that. Next, we have Smith Shah from Symbiosis Institute of Technology. We have an engineering college and Smith is doing his engineering there. Smith, you can unmute and ask your questions.
Am I audible?
Yes, Smith, please go on.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. So my name is Smith and I'm a final year student at Symbiosis Institute of Technology. So my question is, in the book 5.7, you have mentioned the rigidity of education system is exposed in the convocation speech of Professor Cherian. He in the beginning was a strict and principled man, but in the end, he realized that the GPA can make the best students, but not the best person. So along with the studies, rank and GPA, there are many other things that should be given equal opportunity, like in the life, like family, friends, internal desires and goal. But now when it comes to placements, and the companies like Microsoft and Google are coming, so they want students who have GPA more than 8 on 10, and there are some students who like due to engagement in other activities lack this, they have low scores and they are not shortlisted. So what should they do?
You know, the companies you're talking about are some of the most, they're the most valuable companies in the world, and they're the most desired companies in the world as far as the job thing goes. Like people want jobs, so they can get everything. उनको जो चाहिए वो बोलेंगे हमें 6 feet 2 inches वाले लोग चाहिए तो उनको 6 feet 2 inches वाले भी मिल जाएंगे, because everybody wants to go there. So I think that is because these companies are so much in demand that and you know, it just, I think it's simpler to just shortlist. Otherwise, how do you shortlist so many applications, and rather than individually check each other for talent? So I think that's why they give importance to GPA, because they can, you know. But what I mean to say is, if you are good, you can still rise in life. GPA is one ladder, but there are other ladders in life, you know, which are always there. If you have a vision for yourself, number one. Number two, if you have a very good work ethic, you have a vision, your dream where you want to be, very good, but you need a very good work ethic. And three, if you're willing to change with the times, you are working hard, but you're not changing with the time, then also you could be left behind. If you have these three things, vision, work ethic, and adaptability to change with the times, success will come. One day, success will knock at your door. It will just happen. Because these qualities, although are very simple and obvious and commonsensical, somehow all three together are quite rare. And you look at any successful person, that's what these people have had. So I believe in that. Now, chances are people who have this will get a good GPA also. But even if you don't, for some reason, if you have these other qualities, then you will do well in life. That's just, success will come. You know.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Great. Before we go with the next question of the students, you have talked about government running bad hospitals, and you're told Modi Care might be better, and every government should have a hospital with a line of credit and pre-approved emergency items. I mean, just for your information, Symbiosis has got its own hospital, and we are coming up with our medical college. It's already approved. We are starting. So there is a private medical college and a medical hospital, and a hospital for all access. Anyone can, you know, go and take the medication here and get themselves treated here at the lovely campus. Now, that being the case, you got one end the private players coming in, and you in your article you have talked about the Modi Care. So I mean, what's your view on this private public healthcare system in India? I would like to hear your views before we go with the next student. Yeah.
Well, healthcare, as you can see, right now we need it more than ever, and I think we are a poor nation. I know I've said this before, and I think we are not that poor that khana nahi hai ya starvation hai. Everybody has food, everybody has 4G, and but what 2,000 per capita does and what 10,000 and 60,000 doesn't is the 2,000 means that you will not have good healthcare. You will not have good schools. You will not have good roads and infrastructure. खा लो, छोले भटूरे खा लोगे, सारे खा लेंगे, and data भी देख लो, like you can watch content on your phone or internet, and but it's not going to be very good when things go bad for you. You will not get your children into a good school or college. Most of people will not be able to get a good hospital, and you will not be able to get. So yes, we can keep reforming our healthcare policy, but it costs money. Good healthcare costs money anywhere in the world. So either it's private incomes are not that high in India, so they can't afford, or it's government, like in Australia and UK where the government pays, but those countries are rich, and our country can't pay for so many people. So those two, if you want good healthcare, please focus on building our country. It doesn't matter what ad some jewelry shop made, yeah. How does it matter? क्या फर्क पड़ेगा आपके घर को? क्या क्या हो गया उससे? So you just focus. It needs focus on taking this country ahead. Otherwise, tomorrow your elderly parents will not get a good hospital, and your children will not get a good admission. It's fact of life.
Okay.
Being poor is not fun. Don't be poor and proud. Be rich and humble.
Great. Oh, that's a fabulous statement. In fact, I would like to share that we have got a Symbiosis Medical College for Women. It was the dream of our Chancellor, Dr. Majumdar, and there are 5 free shifts that's being given exclusively for female students. You know, it's a women's medical college that's getting open. One of the very few in this country that have only women's only medical college. So Symbiosis is one among them. And 5 free ship. I mean, nothing to pay. If they are in merit, they get complete free ship and medical education. This country is also costly, and Symbiosis is giving it. That just for your information, sir. Let me go to the next one, which is a question from Halak Shah. He is from Symbiosis Center for Human Resource Development, SEMHRD, doing his MBA. Halak, you can ask your question. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for such an introspective session. And I have 2 questions for you. One is, given your switch from romance to mystery, are you dumping young adults or trying to transfigure their palate? And the second question is, do you see yourself running for the Nobel Prize in Literature, considering no Indian has won it for over a century?
I'm not running. Nobody can run for a prize. You run for elections, and मेरे को मिलने भी नहीं वाला है. I am here to win hearts, not Nobel Prize or whatever, and that's more than enough. I think it's just, I mean, it's a murder mystery, but it still has a love story. It still has friendship. It's still a Chetan Bhagat book. So I will never lose those elements just because it's a crime novel. It doesn't mean that the Chetan Bhagat connect that makes young people read the books will go away. So that'll never go away. It just makes people turn the pages, you know, who did it. It adds suspense. I'm seeing that more and more people are on video on their phones. So if I have to make them keep reading a book, they will read it more likely if they have to trying to solve a case. As you know, Indians love solving cases outside of court also.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for answering the question. The next is a question which is coming from Sumit Gatani. Sumit, are you there? You can unmute and ask your question, Sumit. Sumit is from SIBM Bengaluru. We have got a campus in Bengaluru. So
Yes.
Sumit, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hi, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, clear.
You are
Please go on.
visible and audible with your blue headphones.
Thank you so much. Chetan, sir, my question is, as an avid writer on newspaper editorials, what role do you think literature can play in shaping up the society's perception at large? I mean, referring to recent Tanishq ad outrage a few days back, do you think Indian audience has a long way to go in accepting the messaging around cross-cultural harmony?
Well, literature does play a part, and it always has throughout history, and we all need to try. You know, that's why I do it. I mean, I can just write love stories, and I can just write murder mysteries and make movies maybe every now and then, and make money and be happy. But I feel like I'll be wasting my platform. I'll be wasting my reach if I just only stick to that. I should try to use my voice and my education and my thinking to take India on the right path. I can't alone do it, but if there are 50, 100 voices like me, this country could change the way it thinks. Yes. And if I join, for example, if I also join and say, maro, todo, jalado, sir, and if 50 people start saying like that, like me, with enough reach like me, it can lead to devastating effects. So I can't take away that responsibility, even though I didn't apply for that job. When I see, I care for the youth. They have made me, they want my books. You can say this is my form of customer service. Whereas I'm saying, when I see the country going in wrong direction, the thinking is going wrong, fake news is leading the charge, it becomes a duty. And I think it can somewhere shift the public opinion. And when the public opinion shifts, the politician shifts the behavior, the public opinion becomes widespread. People learn, and people say, yeah, maybe he makes sense. They may abuse me. For that Tanish tweet, I got 12,700 replies abusing me because people twisted it, right? People said, I said those opposing this are wrong. I didn't, and they said he's anti-Hindu. How I am Hindu? How can I be like, I'm not anti-Hindu? I've so many times, in fact, supported causes which a lot of liberals say, why is he doing this? Whether it's them, but jo galat hai, wo galat hai, yaar. Sahi galat hai, sahi galat samne dikhta. I didn't find anything wrong in the ad. If people didn't tell me there's a controversy in the ad, I would not even have said. कई बार होता है ad गलत बन जाता है, लेकिन अरे इसके पीछे. And if you start creating drama over this, harming an Indian brand, harming business sentiment, how is it helping the economy? If number one priority is economy, is this helping the economy? Is making the economy worse? Simple test. And if it is making it worse, sorry, I don't approve of this kind of behavior.
Thank you. Thank you for answering. Before we go with the next student, one thing about your books is, of course, they are bestsellers. And when a movie is made, it becomes a blockbuster hit as well. So how about your latest book? Do you plan to make a movie out of it as well, or it's going to be just a novel there?
These murder mysteries work very well as web series. So maybe that, but basically I have to wait for Corona to get over before I can really do much on this. And right now the book has just come out. I think just releasing the book in the middle of a pandemic was a big challenge, and we managed to do it and make it a bestseller in the middle of Corona. And I think that is enough for now. We'll see in the next few months what we can do.
Okay. Yeah, OTT platforms are picking up, and web series also is a great idea.
Yeah, the future. You have to change, I said, right? You have to change with the times.
Yeah.
Bollywood was if I can't, at that time that was the ultimate. Now something else. Yeah. I have to bet on the future, and I've always done that. So.
Yeah. So there is a question from our Chancellor, Dr. Mujumdar, sir. Sir, please.
It's not a question, but it's a sharing of my thoughts with Chetan Bhagat. Chetan, I am avid reader of your articles, especially when they appear in Times of India. I don't miss a single article that you write. So especially the article which wrote during Corona period and Times of India on 11th April 2020, dealing with Corona anxiety. It was a wonderful article, and after reading it, my fear of Corona has considerably reduced.
Thank you.
It's a really beautiful article, advising people not to get afraid, not to develop anxiety. It's a beautiful article. But apart from that, having spent more than 5 decades in education, I feel that reservation policy that our government is adopting, is it not destroying our education system? Especially reservation based on caste, creed.
Yeah.
Instead of that, Chetanji, don't you think economically backwardness should be the sole criterion for helping students to come up? No wonder, therefore, that people complain that not a single university in India comes in the top 200 world-class universities. I feel reservation is one of the reasons which is killing the quality of our education. Instead, why not consider economically backward classes for purpose of reservation? What do you have to say on this? Because this is going to a very important aspect.
I agree with you, and if it were up to me, I would do exactly like this, because especially now, because we have the technology. 30 years ago, the simple way was to check the caste and give, because there's some correlation with caste and need-based thing. But today you have all the big data available. The government knows, what transactions and everything, because we do have schemes where direct cash transfers happen, migrant labor was given money, all those things. So we have the data. I think we should, however, knowing the politics of the country, I do know that this will, suddenly if you do this, it will lead to political chaos. So the way to do it is to maybe announce that this transition will happen over a period of 20 years. This is the reservation pool, which we have today. Today it's 100% caste-based, 0% economic-based. Next year it's going to be 90% caste-based, 10% economic-based. Next year is 80%. Like that, you go ahead till one day you reach that point, so that there is no politics around it, or less politics around it. What I've learned as I've aged, and of course I'm still not as much experience as you, is that sudden change leads to people getting very uncomfortable. And sometimes things, even though things need to change, they don't change because how to change them. So I think this conversation should start, because there are other problems also, not just in education. The discrimination doesn't go away. And also you have situations like the creamy layer, which everybody knows very well, whereas people who have the caste certificate, but their parents and grandparents took advantage of the reservation, only their kids are getting advantage of the reservation again. So it's not even having the intended effect. Whereas the economic criteria will have a much better effect. But like I said, if you do it gradually, let's say you do it over 20 years, okay, fine. 5% each year, the quota shifts from here to here. I do think it will eventually iron out the differences also. But, it's a very difficult conversation. The moment you talk about this, my God, people just like, as if like it's working so wonderfully that how dare you change it. But it's not working wonderfully. If it was, then the caste differences should not be there. Even now there is discrimination. Even now people are from certain castes are not getting their due. So we should review it. Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your valuable comments on that. In fact, we have at Symbiosis the strict norm as a government, as mandated by the government. We also have the same structure where we give, and we also have merit-based scholarships, irrespective of caste, creed, religion. If the person is on merit, there are specific merit-based scholarships that the university offers to all students at the undergraduate as well as postgraduate level. Fine. So let me go with the next question from Harshvardhan from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune, SIBM Pune. Harshvardhan, you can unmute and ask your question, Harshvardhan.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hi.
Good afternoon, sir. Firstly, thank you so much for interacting with us coming here. So my question is that from a very marketeer's perspective, usually we observe that, a novelist or a writer has a specific target audience and a reader group. However, you, for example, have a much wider and much intersectional reader group that are essentially very different from each other. So, we would love to get some insights on how this was achieved, or was it planned from before, or it just came about?
The exact what it has become was obviously not by design, because there was no benchmark in India like this. Like there was no other author who had similar kind of branding or like the kind of positioning like I have. So I had to kind of chart my own course. But one thing I realized early in life is marketing is important. And I'm very honest enough to say it. I in fact enjoy it also. I enjoy marketing. Marketing is important. You have to, I heard a wonderful line in one of my motivational talks I keep hearing, is that you have to make the world respect your greatness. Nobody will do it for you. Nobody will come to you and say, wow, you're so great. You have to do it. Of course, there are ways to do it. You have to be humble about it, but you have to do it. And I knew that for books, it's very difficult to market them. So from the very beginning, I was very clear that I'll make a brand and I'll try to do the most things I can do with brand so that it remains. And yeah, so in that sense, you can say that I was very clear that a brand will really help me for my books. And what is a brand? But it's not like you decide to make a brand. Brand basically means people trust you. For certain things, people trust Symbiosis. When a student joins Symbiosis, they have some expectations. And they trust that even before going to class for one day, they know that it will be okay. I can be here for 3 years or 4 years or 2 years, whatever the course is. Because that's the brand. That's it. Brand is not always Nike and Starbucks or things like that. And in my case, the brand is, if Chetan Bhagat's book is coming and I pick it up, I will not be disappointed. So the core of marketing comes from the product only, as I'm sure the marketing people who are on this will tell you. 4 P's of marketing. The first P is product, what you are. And so that also has to be very good. But then apart from that, yes, I don't shy away from it. I like marketing, and social media has allowed me to do a lot of marketing. So yeah, but it was not a full plan. No, it just happened.
Thank you. In fact, content sells. The content that you have has attracted so many, and it has made it popular for sure. Everything is a bestseller that you write. So let me go to the next question from an engineering student from Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Anchal Thakur. Anchal, you can unmute and ask. Yeah, go ahead, Anchal.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Anchal Thakur, and I'm from Symbiosis Institute of Technology. So my question for you is based on something that you said earlier, wherein you talked about how we should not wait for external factors and for maybe the government to kind of pave the path for the future for us, but rather we should work on bettering ourselves and reaching that particular niche. So the question is that as millennials, as the particular young generation of India right now, are there any qualities that we should be working towards harnessing in specific for a brighter and a more progressive future for India, as well as for us?
See, there's another line I heard once, and I really liked it. It's a very simple line. How you do anything is how you do everything. I know it sounds, what does it mean? How you do anything is how you do everything. What this means is, how you focus on your life, how you treat yourself, how you treat your own career, is how you will think about the nation. And how you think about the nation is how you will treat yourself. So first you focus on yourself. Make sure you are going somewhere in life. How do you make sure you're going somewhere in life? You'll have to work a lot for it. You'll have to make a plan. You'll have to be very focused. You'll have to have people who have a direction in life have a very different lifestyle. They automatically will not be able to waste time. They just can't, right? Once you do that, automatically you will start feeling progressive ideas about the nation. If you have a positive outlook in life for your own life, you'll have a positive outlook for the country. You will never even think of dividing the country. You'll never even think. If you notice the people on the internet who are bickering or fighting or saying negative things, go deep into their lives. They are very unhappy. They're sad. Which person with a great income, a busy life, a lot of friends, good health is going to start abusing one religion? Nobody will do that. It's only when you are sad in life. So first you build yourself, and then the nation will follow.
Thank you so much, sir.
Great. It's already 1:30. We still have questions. I don't know if you have time left for it. Yeah.
I actually do have another session, but yeah.
I know. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I think you have patiently answered all the questions posted by the students, as well as, shared your thoughts. It was really interesting. First is, thank you for giving time to us and sharing your thoughts. It would have been really fantastic if you are here at the Loveday campus. I would have got an opportunity to take a selfie with you, which I'm missing right now. I'll have to take a screenshot.
Screenshot for now, but I will come to Pune. I love Pune. I love Symbiosis. So let's hope all this gets okay soon.
I mean, we'll be happy to host you here, possibly again with your grown-up kids in the same guest house, which has got still better, which has got theme-based rooms now. It's, you must visit it now. It's a completely different, fabulous 5-star guest house that we have. We'll be happy to host you here and possibly have the session for students here on the Loveday campus. With that closing note, let me once again thank you. And, we wish that you will be here for a live session once the pandemic ends. I also thank the Chancellor, Dr. Majumdar sir, who's here, who's been right through the session. the Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Vidya Ervedekar, the Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Rajani Gupte, and all other colleagues, including Dr. Anita Patankar, who has been handling this, anchoring this entire literature festival of Symbiosis, and all the students, faculty members, staff members, and alums who have joined this on this Zoom platform as well as on the YouTube platform.